Hey, what's going on everyone? It is Kyle and we are back with another episode of my programming and web development tutorials. We are back doing some more C++. This is episode 6 and in this episode we are going to be covering arrays and how they work, what they do. I'm just going to try and explain and break it down for you as best as I can. So first off, what we're going to do is we're going to jump into a picture editing program called GIMP. And I'm just going to try and explain, like I said, to the best of my ability, how an array works and what I think is a good analogy and a good way to think of an array, because they can be kind of confusing for beginners, and so I think it's probably a good idea that we kind of, break it down a bit. So the way I like to think of an array is like a box, okay? A very poorly drawn box. So you can see here that we've got a box. Now, imagine it like a tackle box or a parts box. So it's got lots of different sections in it. And you can see that this one has 2, 4, 6, 8 different sections in it, okay? And this sort of represents an array. So an array is just like one of these boxes, and it has different values stored in it. So we're basically putting things in the box. So you can have numbers or strings or basically whatever you want to have in the array. And yeah, it just helps you store and organize all of those values together and then be able to access them later on. Okay, so I'm going to show you guys now how we actually make an array and sort of explain a little bit more on how it works and how you can access the array within C++. So we'll open up our code blocks and we will type out our template program. So include IOStream, and we're going to also include string for this one too. It sort of seems to be the best way to explain how an array works. So create our main function and return our value of 0. Okay, so to create an array, it's very similar to creating a variable, in the fact that you define an array type. So in this case, we're going to use a string array, and then you supply the name. So let's call this one my array, and then in square braces you actually define the size of the array. So how many of these compartments it actually has. So for this one we're going to use 5. Okay, it seems like a good number. And then optionally, if you want to or need to, you actually assign or fill up these little boxes in the array. And to do that, you just go equals, and then you start a curly brace, and then you put in and you fill it up with the type of values that you declared your array as. So for example, if you declared an integer array, then you fill it up with numbers. If you declared a string array, then you fill it up with strings. So in this case, we're going to say hello, my name is Bill. I like Bill. I don't know why. Okay, so this is now an array. So it's basically split up the string hello my name is Bill, hello my name is Bill, into 5 different sections. And the way that you need to be, and the way to access different sections of the array or different boxes within the array is to actually call the index of the array. And what the index is basically telling you where or which box you want to look at. And to do that, it starts at 0 and works up to the size of the array. So in this case, it would be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and that's sort of something you need to watch out for as well, that you don't go saying 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 like the size of the array. The size of the array is just how many boxes, and then the index always starts at 0 and works its way up from there. So that's something to watch out for. So to print out an index onto the screen, if we were going to do that, you would use your std, cout, and then call the array name, so my array, and then in the square braces you would put in the index. So if we wanted to say I want to pull out Bill, then you would put in 4, because 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and it's literally as simple as that. Boom, Bill. That's it. Okay, so you're probably asking why. I don't get it. Why would you actually want to use an array? Like, what's the point? The point would be, and we're not going to do it in this episode, but I will explain, because we probably will cover it in an episode after this when we explain loops and stuff like that. If you wanted to, say, make some kind of card game and you needed to store all the different cards within your program, instead of saying std string ace equals ace, etc., all the way through all of the cards, you would just have an array called cards, and then you would have, ace 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, blah, 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 all the way up, and have all of the cards. And you're probably still thinking to yourself, well, it's saving me on space, but how else can you use it? And you can also use it to print out all of the cards on the screen in only a few lines of code. Instead of having to say std cout my array 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way through to 51, you can actually create a loop, which we'll cover in a future episode, and actually do it all at once. And basically you're saving heaps of lines of code. You're basically saving 40 lines of code, or actually probably more than that, because you'd have to declare all the strings, and then you'd have to give them all values, and then you would have to print each one out by hand. It's just a real pain. So that's where arrays come in, and they're really, really handy for things like that. It's basically for storing things of the same type. So shoe brands, or different types of cars, that kind of stuff, and it's really handy for that. So yeah, I hope I've explained how arrays work, and hopefully we'll be using them in some upcoming episodes when we get into loops, and I'll probably make sure that I do that so we can just sort of cover arrays a little bit more and increase your understanding of them. So thank you very much for watching, and stay tuned for the next episode.